I was talking to Sammy over in repairs. The forklift will be ready in a couple of days, and then we can take those crates off the loading platform and get it over into stock.
Oh, wait a second. I told you, Jock, I can't drive the forklift.
Ah, come on, relax. I'll teach you everything I know. I can lift a carton of eggs with those babies and never break one of them. Speaking of eggs, I got egg salad on rye and tuna fish on white. Want to trade?
No.
Yeah?
Look, I was going to ask a favor. If it's all the same to you and if it's all right with you, I'd like to go home for lunch.
It's okay with me as long as you come back in an hour.
Oh, yeah, no problem. The Clearfield bus, it'll drop me off right in front of the place, and, you know, no problem. It's not me, it's my wife. Well, she got all excited. She got a new job, and she wanted me to come home so she could talk to me about it.
Oh, yeah? Your wife works?
Yeah.
What's she do?
She's a receptionist secretary for a doctor.
Oh, that's great. Sounds smart. I bet she's pretty, too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it figures. Good-looking guy like you. I don't know why I wasn't born handsome instead of rich.
Yeah.
I ain't complaining, though. Listen, my wife is beautiful, you know. The only trouble is she won't go out to work. She won't go out of the house for any reason. You think it has something to do with the fact that we got 4 kids?
Yeah, you got a big family.
Hey, it's bigger than that. There's her brother, Jerry, and then my mother-in-law comes by 4 times a year, and she camps out in the living room there. So I ain't complaining. Yeah, it's family life, you know. Oh, hey, speaking of my brother-in-law, have you ever been out to the Oakdale Playland Park?
No.
Well, he works there. You know, it's great. They got lots of rides and stuff. He gave me some tickets. My wife, she hates roller coasters and stuff like that. So here, why don't you take them?
Hey,
Go ahead.
Chuck, I don't know.
Hey, take them. Go on. Let me give you some advice, kid. Have your fun now, before the family life sets in.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I appreciate it. It'd be nice to have a good time. Look, I've really got to go. I promise. I'll be back in an hour. Thanks.
Okay.
Well, here we are. I hope this is where you like it.
Oh, looks terrific. I'm sorry to put you all this bother, but it sure looks good.
No bother at all. Now, Kirk should be home any minute.
Good.
Would you like some milk?
Yes, please.
To tell you the truth, I don't even know what a district attorney does.
Oh, that's a toughie. Let's see. No, I defend a little truth, guard a few fundamental liberties, that sort of
Leap
thing.
tall buildings in a single bound.
When I'm campaigning, the voters like that. No, actually, I'm the chief prosecuting officer of the city of Monticello. It means it's my job to bring the bad guys into court.
Oh, the bad guys, I see. And you're a good friend of April?
Well, I hope so. I was a close friend of her husband, even though he was one of the good guys that I brought into court.
You did that?
Yes, I did. It's a long story and not one I'm particularly proud of, so what I mean is that... Well, actually, I didn't have a lot of choice in the matter. Draper was arrested. The evidence against him was very strong. I took that evidence to a grand jury, and they voted to indict him.
But he was innocent, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. It's one of those things that happens from time to time, even though the law takes great pains to prevent it. Sometimes your facts get distorted and...
It must have been very difficult for you.
Yes, it was.
No, I heard what happened to him about his being killed at the train wreck at Grand Falls. And as a matter of fact, Grand Falls is just a few miles from where I used to live.
Really?
In Evansville. Lived there all my life.
That's very interesting. I'm on my way up there this afternoon.
Are you really?
Yes, I'm involved in an investigation. It's concerning the train wreck, as a matter of fact.
Oh, does that mean there's going to be some prosecution involved?
No, not really. This is just background information on another case. It's semi-official investigation, you might call it, though I am taking a police officer with me.
Oh.
In fact, it's one police officer you know. Deborah Saxon, Detective Saxon.
Oh, I probably met her at April's.
No other place?
Well, maybe once before. I don't really remember.
Police headquarters, perhaps?
that's why you're here. You heard that I went to the police and asked about...
About your friend who vanished all those years ago.
Look, what I asked Detective Saxon was genuine. I really didn't know what had happened to Kirk in the past 10 years. I didn't know if he had a police record. I wasn't lying to her.
But you didn't tell her that you were Mrs. Michaels, did you?
How could I? What if it turned out that he was wanted? Then she would have forced me to tell her where he was.
The police in this town don't force you to do anything. Part of my job is making sure that they don't.
Why did you come here? Was it just to make trouble for us?
No, it wasn't. I wanted to meet you. I wanted to meet your husband. I felt that somebody who cared for April should meet both of you.
You mean you're doing this just for April?
Mrs. Michaels, I did tell you the truth. When I told you I was here as a friend of April Scott's, that's exactly what I meant. Nothing more and nothing less.
Please. Just try to understand. I was only trying to protect my husband. You see, he was ill a little while ago, and he lost part of his memory. I was just trying to help him regain it, that's all. And Kirk is not a criminal. He is a good, hard-working man, and he has a job now.
I hope I didn't give you the impression
Look,
that...
we are just trying to make a good living. A good, quiet life, that's all. Wait until you meet Kirk. I know you'll see that I'm telling you the truth. You just wait until you meet him.
That's me, too. Recognize me? When I was in the Claremont Hospital. Boy, I really looked awful then. Kind of skinny and pale. And again, I was very sick. And that is my brother Miles.
Oh, yeah, the doctor that Miss Emily's going to work for.
Mm-hmm. Remember you met him the other night?
Yeah.
Now, he's handsome, isn't he? Every female patient in the hospital thought so. In fact, every female in the hospital. The nurses, the visitors, everybody, you know. That's my husband.
Oh, yes, of course.
He was handsome. It wasn't just his looks, not just his features. Something else, I don't know. I don't know if I can put it into words. Something about his eyes, I think. A gentleness that kind of got the feeling that all his goodness was just shining through.
Yeah, I can see that. I know it's none of my business, but how did you meet your husband?
In the hospital, Claremont Hospital, yes. I was a patient, and he was visiting Nicole, who was not my sister-in-law at the time, but she was also a patient. It's a long story. Anyway, I met Draper in the solarium at the hospital. I'll never forget. It was really very funny. He was sitting there reading a magazine about expectant mothers.
Do I remember that your marriage didn't last very long?
Yeah, it didn't. Less than 2 years. And I'll tell you, it was a very long and rocky road from the Claremont Hospital down the wedding aisle. Actually, it was rocky afterwards, too. But we were very happy. I don't think there was ever a couple who was happier.
Life can be very unfair sometimes, can't it?
Life can be downright mean. Recognize this lady? That's Margot Huntington, my mother.
Oh, yeah, I recognize her now.
Yeah.
I remember the newspaper articles about her death.
I don't know how anyone could have thought Draper was responsible for that, but obviously they did. A jury did. That's what put him on that train to Grand Falls. Hello.
Hi, April. It's Deborah.
Oh, hi, Deborah. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Listen, I was wondering if you're available in the next hour or so. I'd like to come up and see you.
Well, I'd love it if you would.
Oh, good, good. I see I'm leaving town in a couple of days, and I would like to come by and talk to you if I could.
Anything important?
Yeah, it's something you should know about. Those people that you sold your house to. I'll talk to you about it later when I see you, okay?
Oh, okay, bye.
You know, this is really quite an occasion for me. The last man that bought me lunch was a police officer who bought me a hamburger at a station house.
Police officer?
Don't worry, I wasn't being arrested for murder. In fact, I was picked up for being a little too far from home. I was only 11 years old.
Were you running away?
Of course, I know I have to sing a little song for my supper. But you do want to ask me some questions,
Look, don't make this sound like an interrogation. I just wanted to talk with you for a little while, get to know you a little bit better.
Does your wife know you're doing this?
Frankly, no, I just did it on impulse, so I certainly plan to tell her about it.
She won't be jealous. No, why should she be? A beautiful woman like that. She doesn't have to worry about competition. So, go ahead, continue.
All right, if you're going to make this into a question and answer session, all right, let's see. I will start out by asking, why did you wait until now before coming to Monticello?
I don't know. I suppose I never saw a reason to come here. I certainly didn't think I'd be welcomed with open arms, even if Nicole is my half-sister.
Why not? I mean, why wouldn't she be interested in you? You could have written her a letter a long time ago, Jody.
Well, that doesn't seem like the right way to meet your sister, does it? By letter?
Obviously, you didn't know what the right way was since you didn't even introduce yourself. We had to force the issue.
Yeah, I was kind of shy about it. I just thought I could walk up to Nicole and say, "Hi there, sis." But then I went down to WMON Studios, and I saw her come out that door, and I just froze up. I didn't know what to say to her, so I just stared at her.
And you began to follow her.
I didn't trail her like a detective. I just found out where she was going to be, and then I went there, too. I just wanted to see what she was like in her own environment before I had the nerve to be part of it.
Oh, so you do want to be a part of Nicole's environment?
I didn't mean it like that. Look, I told you how I feel about this. I have no claims on Nicole. I hardly knew the man we both called Daddy, and she didn't know the woman I called Mama. Yeah, she was real lucky on that account.
I gather you didn't like your mother very much. Is that why you had that hamburger in that police station?
I loved my mother. How can a child not love her mother?
Oh, some manage.
Well, I loved her until I was old enough to know what she was.
And what was that? Never mind. It's not important. Listen, I hope you don't think I'm prying. Maybe you can understand how my curiosity is very natural, can't you?
Sure. I'm a curious person, too. Especially about people who interest me. So, tell me about yourself.
Come on now, I'm paying for this meal, remember?
All right. But the next time I have money, I'll take you out for lunch, and then I'll be entitled to ask the questions.
It's a deal, but this time I'm just trying to find out a little bit about you, all right?
All right. It's really not that complicated. I'm the daughter of a man who never wanted me to be born. That's obvious, isn't it?
How'd your mother feel?
Oh, I'm sure Mama was thrilled when she found out she was pregnant. Maybe she honestly thought the famous Benjamin Travis would divorce his rich wife and marry her instead. No such luck.
But you were born anyway.
Yeah, and she made the best of it for a while. I don't know why. Maybe she thought that I'd make all the difference in the world to them, that he'd come back to her, that he'd like the new family better than the old.
The old family being Nicole and her mother?
Yeah, but of course that didn't happen either. And then all those other things happened to my father. His arrest, his death.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't know him well enough to care about all of that, did you?
No, I didn't know him. In fact, there's only one thing I did care about. The only thing I still care about.
And what's that?
Well, dancing, of course. Just dancing, nothing else.
Dancing, huh? Well, did your mother at least see to it that you got some lessons?
My mother? My mother was ashamed of her fat, clumsy little girl. Anyway, she was the theatrical star of the family, and nobody stole her spotlight.
That's right. You told me she was an actress. Was she any good? Did she get any parts?
Well, you can see her in some B movies on the Late Late Show. But honestly, I don't think she's had a job in over 10 years.
Well, how'd she support herself? How'd she support you?
She had friends.
Boyfriends?
You're a very smart man, Dr.
Oh,
Kavanaugh.
look, if I'm so smart, how come I still don't have an answer to my first question?
About why I'm here.
That's right.
I guess. Well, I needed to find a connection with the rest of the world. Besides, for my mother, who lives in Springfield now, this is the only other town I know of where I have one living relative.
So Nicole is your reason for coming here?
Not because I want anything from her. I don't. I have a job, you know.
Yes, I know. At the Unicorn. How'd you get that job, anyway?
Well, I'm staying at the dance studio. And Gavin, the guy you just met, who runs the place, he told me about the opening.
What do you mean you're staying at the dance studio?
Just what I said. I'm staying there. I'll sleep there on the floor.
Well, my lord, that can't be very comfortable.
It has some advantages. It's close to my job. I get to use the exercise bar and the mirrors whenever I like. And it's cheap.
You broke?
I can manage. I'm making money as a waitress. I get one free meal a night, and I have a place to sleep.
Well, I'm going to help you a little bit.
Wait, I don't think you heard me the first time.
Doesn't matter.
But, Dr. Kavanaugh, I didn't ask you for any money.
I know you did. That's why I'm giving you some.
April, look, you may not think this is very serious, but I think you should know what's going on. May I sit?
Please.
This friend of yours, Emily, I've met her before at police headquarters.
Well, what was she doing there?
Well, she came of her own free will. She was asking me some questions about somebody named Kirk Michaels.
Her husband.
Yeah, her husband. Only she didn't tell me it was her husband. She said it was a friend of hers, this long-lost friend that she hadn't seen for at least a decade. And she also gave me a fictitious name, April. She told me that her name was Mrs. Mitchell.
Oh?
Now, it's perfectly understandable what she was doing and why. Obviously, she must have thought that her husband was lying to her about his past. And
No, Deborah, I'm sure it wasn't that. Emily has explained to me that Kirk, her husband, has a memory problem. He was in an accident and it affected his memory.
Oh, come on, April, this man has a police record.
I know that. Logan told me. He didn't give me any details.
Well, I'm not saying that he's a major criminal or anything, but he has a felony arrest on his record. And he left Monticello 9 years ago, and nobody has heard from him since.
I know, it's confusing, but it's also very sad.
Sad?
Oh, yeah, for Emily. I mean, I can understand now why she's so concerned about Kirk and why she's, why she's almost afraid for me to meet him. But I don't want you to worry about it. Really, I'm not afraid the guy's going to rip me off or anything.
April, look, I don't know what the situation is, but I just wanted you to know. I think it's important. Logan does, too. That's why he's going out to Oakdale to see if he can come face to face with this Kirk Michaels. In fact, he's got to do it today because we're leaving Monticello this afternoon.
We? You and Logan are going together?
Yeah, we've got some business to take care of upstate.
Logan told me he was going on vacation.
Well, I guess it's sort of a combination.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want you to know that we care about you a great deal. We're not meddling. We just don't want to see you get hurt any more than you already have been. That's why he's going out to Oakdale. See if he can find out about this Kirk Michaels.
You know, it's sort of a happy coincidence, me meeting somebody from up there. What sort of a town is Evansville?
Oh, it's just a small farming community. Actually, there are only 2 or 3 farms of any size left, though.
Do you live in the town proper, or were you out in the country?
No, we're about 8 miles outside of town. Big old house.
You didn't happen to be home the night of the wreck, by any chance?
Yes, we were. Of course, we didn't hear anything about it until the next day.
Did you ever hear any stories or rumors of any of the survivors wandering away from the wreck and then not being accounted for?
No, we didn't hear any rumors.
You didn't see anybody that night, did you?
See anyone? What do you mean?
A stranger. Like I said, somebody perhaps just wandering. I know all this sounds peculiar, but these are the questions that I'm going to be asking up there in my investigation.
Excuse me.
Oh, certainly, certainly.
Hello?
Miss Emily, is that man there?
Molly?
Is that man there, the district attorney?
Yes, he's still here, Molly.
Then for love of heaven, get rid of him. And whatever you do, don't let him meet Kirk.
What?
Don't let him meet your husband. Do you hear me? You'll regret it for the rest of your life if you do.
Molly, I don't understand.
Kirk is in danger, in terrible danger, and so are you.
Molly, he's here right now. He's getting off the bus. He's heading up toward the front door.
Well, then stop him now.